Harvard's got to behave themselves. Harvard is treating our country with great disrespect, and all they're doing is getting in deeper and deeper and deeper. Harvard has to understand the last thing I want to do is hurt them. They're hurting themselves. They're fighting.
True. And today, the battle between Harvard and the Trump administration heads to court, this time over the university's ability to enroll and grant visas to international students. Fox News contributor, GWU law professor Jonathan Turley joins us now. Jonathan, what the president said also is that I don't really think you should have 27 to 32% of your student body foreign. I think it should be capped at 15. Your thoughts about what this all means for both?
Well, the thing to remember about higher education is that these foreign students are something of a meal ticket for universities. Most of them pay the full rate, full tuition. And so universities are eager to get them because they represent a significant financial component for them. When you're also squeezing grants, even a university the size of Harvard begins to feel that on the bottom line.
So who do you think has the upper hand in this argument? Can the government tell Harvard you can or can't bring in international students?
I think that the administration is going to prevail on much of this, not all of it. I've been critical of some of the moves of the administration towards Harvard, but the administration does have discretion in a lot of these areas on grants. They have discretion on granting these visas. But more importantly, this is a war of attrition. And in that war, Harvard could win a lot of these court cases and still lose.
Right.
They are not in a good position to go toe-to-toe with the administration over the next 3 years when they're being drained of these resources.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Hur is one of the lawyers, and he said they could look at some type of deal. The president of Harvard on a podcast admitted that the administration and others have said the conservatives are too few on campus and their views are not welcome. Really? So the president of the university knows not enough conservative views and they're not welcome. That's your life that you're living at GWU, right?
That's right. And the thing is, I was chuckling at that interview. I wrote a book called The Indispensable Right, which talks about Harvard as an example of everything wrong in higher education. Less than 3% of their faculty identify as Republican, less than 9% of their student body. That doesn't happen by accident. That takes a long effort to purge your ranks of people with dissenting views. So these are not people who have shown tolerance to others for many years.
Mahmoud Khalil, he's the graduate student, born in Syria, went to London, came here, became an activist, pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian. A judge came out and said, I'm not too sure that the administration can deport the 30-year-old Khalil, but he didn't make a final decision yet. Can you unwind the legalese?
Yeah, Brian, this is an interesting case. First of all, the court did not rule on the question of whether Khalil withheld information from his application, which the administration is arguing that it did. The administration here is trying to create the brightest of bright line rules. Originally, they were focusing on his conduct, his involvement in a protest that involved criminal acts. That should be enough to remove someone. But then they changed and said, you know what, under our authority, we can remove someone if their viewpoints are viewed as harmful or threatening to the national interest. They want to establish that because it'll give them a free rein to move some of these people out of the country, reduce their burdens in court. That's what this court threw the red flag on and said, if you are preventing him from coming because of or staying because of the content of his views, that raises issues that the court is not comfortable with.
I am. If you have anti-American views, you shouldn't be here. My goodness, I thought the State Department should have control. Now, every international radical is going to lawyer up with some ACLU attorney and just drag this whole thing out. It's unbelievable.
Well, this is part of the overall problem for the administration. They have millions of people that came in under the Biden administration. And if you have to give hearings to every single one of them, it's going to be like invading Russia in winter. You're not going to get very far at all.
Right. And don't do that, is it what you mean? Invade Russia in winter.
Right.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Jonathan. I appreciate it.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.